of course, quite a range of different concepts of development exist. The most common one range from economic definitions of development to definitions that underline the human well-being, or also the happiness of society, as currently practiced also in Bhutan, or employed by Bhutan. In the end, all of these definitions actually have in common that they focus on some kind of positive change, and yeah, then of course it depends on who defines this positive, what exactly is then regarded as also development. State organizations are very likely to give quite different definitions of what is especially emphasized as to be developed as positive than subsistence farmers or donor organizations or the apparently to be developed groups of society. So what is very clear is that there is no linear process that leads to development. Development cannot be or is never a linear process, but instead is always an amalgam, or an arrangement of different decentralized approaches. And this is also where the strength of the whole concept of development comes in. It is a very open concept, it's a boundary concept, which is defined by very different actor groups in different ways, and this multitude of definitions not only brings together different actor groups and links them, creates a platform where they can meet and interact, but it also allows for these different definitions, which then again lead to different or big range of different actions taken towards a better future. Of course, that also means that this space, this platform that is created by the boundary concept, is filled by more influential actors, international donor organizations, for example, more actively than by less organized, less influential actors. And here it is also our task at ZEF, but especially also of the social science department of ZEF, to keep a critical eye on development discourses and by who the most common definitions of development that we work with or don't work with sometimes also are actually shaped and pushed forward. Knowledge is actually quite similar to development, also a very open concept. It ranges from shared belief systems to really tangible innovations, technical just as much as institutional innovations. So the range of topics that links to the whole topic of knowledge, then again, is also quite big, and that makes it attractive. In the end, well, I work in my work always with the definition of knowledge given by Berger-Luckmann, Peter Berger and Thomas Luckmann, that regard knowledge as everything regarded as knowledge in and by society. So basically, it depends on where we place the emphasis on, whether we what we consider as knowledge and what we consider worth knowing and also worth investing into in order to know even better, in order to research further, in order to stretch the limits of what we know further. This aspect of knowledge being ranging from shared definitions of reality to belief systems that which are also shared systems of meaning construction, of course, to technical innovations, means that it is in the end always about assessing how different actors in society also perceive reality, connect meaning to it, and then based on these meaning constructions also define the images of a different future. And these definitions of a different future then of course guide action, and this is where development research hooks up to the whole knowledge topic quite significantly. Yeah? It's always, development research always focuses at assessing how different actors in society want to shape the existing into something slightly different, want to change the existing into something better, develop, and in order to do so, their actions are always guided by their images of a different future, which is at the core of knowledge sociological discussions. I studied Southeast Asian studies, also with actually masters in Indonesian language, originally because I was, and still actually am, completely convinced of the need to bring in language skills, local language skills and cultural expertise if one wants to do bottom-up ethnographic, in the end, development research, social science research in non-Western contexts. For this, the local language skills, the cultural expertise that I developed was in fact crucial, but at the same time, and that then also led me later on to write my PhD in general sociology and in the end in the sociology of knowledge subsection basically. It is also, of course, always the conceptual and methodological debates that create a grounding and also create the analytic frame for the work we do. So for good social science development research, one needs exactly this linkage. The non-Western local language expertise, cultural expertise, just as much as the conceptual and methodological expertise. Moving from one region, or not necessarily moving from one region to another, but also incorporating another region, and especially Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, certain regions in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan into my research focus enabled me to strengthen actually my conceptual and methodological discussions, and also well, of course, develop myself topically further, but link my research with other disciplines a lot more, yeah? Develop my interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary expertise further, but also to take on a little bit of an outsider perspective on the cultural and language expertise that I used to stress beforehand so strongly, and see how research can be shaped in team research, yeah, by building teams where some bring in the local language expertise, cultural expertise, some a lot more the conceptual methodological expertises, etc. But also it in the end enabled me to collect project management experience. In the Uzbekistan project, I coordinated the social science parts of the interdisciplinary project, and then later led to smaller projects in Tajikistan, and now coordinate since 2012 the Germany-wide Competence Network of Crossroads Asia. So also this project management and coordination expertise, of course, is very important for building research over a longer period of time, no? Being able to understand the whole design of projects, including, of course, the budgeting, etc. And I hope to be able to add this to and contribute to this in the future, even more so to the department's development. Well, the whole discussion on transdisciplinary research has especially been developed sort of in the 1990s, and in Europe it was very much advertised and propagated in the International Conference on Transdisciplinary Research in Zurich in 2000. So when ZEF indulged into transdisciplinary processes in 2006, the whole discussion on transdisciplinary research was actually not that old yet, and in my view we have substantially contributed to it. We had the possibility to systematically document several transdisciplinary processes in detail and then also analyze them, and this in not very easy conditions, in for example not only non-Western conditions and setups, but also in partly settings that were characterized by high levels of self-censorship in restrictive environments. What we also tackled with was in the beginning that we wanted to include transdisciplinary components into ongoing projects. Well, ideally, transdisciplinary components are characterized by including the stakeholders or the potential end users right from the moment of actually starting to plan the project. From the moment when the definition of the problem definition is formulated and it is decided to tackle a certain question rather than another because it makes particular sense in the local setting. From that moment onwards, these stakeholders, potential end users, our partners, have to be included. Well, seeing that the projects that we wanted to include transdisciplinary components into were already running, that of course had been missed this chance. By now, we are always including our partners from the beginning on. If we want to design the project in a transdisciplinary manner, we then include the partners into the process of defining what the projects are going to particularly focus on from the beginning on. Through these learning cycles, basically, and the ability to document our own strengths, but also our own weaknesses, one must say, we were able to improve, of course, and we were also able to not only build the capacities for inter and transdisciplinary research, but to, and I emphasize this, to actually socialize ourselves into a different style of conducting research. And that is a strength that we that is very valuable, a strength that we've built together with our partners, and that we are going to be able to build future research on. Well, first of all, I can build on a very strong team in ZEF's Department for Political and Cultural Change. Yet at the same time, I do want us to develop ourselves further, basically mainly by putting the research that we do on different themes in different regions and on different scale levels into a stronger interaction with each other again. And I think we can do that quite nicely by developing the implicit focus on change processes that we have at the moment already. Development is always a form of change, but we also look at environmental change processes and socio-economic transformation processes. By developing this focus on change processes further into a linking frame, we currently work on environmental, mainly climatic change processes in Western Africa and Southeast Asia, for example. We work on socio-economic transformation processes in Central Asia and the Caucasus region. In the end, we always here look at how people partly induce and foster, contribute to change processes, no? change here as development, but partly also cope with change processes, environmental change processes, socioeconomic change processes, how they adapt to them and basically deal with the challenges that these change processes foster. People move from rural sites to urban centers where they live in informal settlements, where the access to land, to water, to health facilities become a topic. They mobilize different stocks of knowledge in order to live with these challenges. They develop their own creative ideas, small innovations. And of course, in all this, the questions of governance, of local institutions play a role. And one can see here how the different core themes that we have all link with each other. But by developing the change processes into a linking frame, we can also place basically the moment of practice, human practice, in dealing with the challenges of change into the moment of comparison, or at least joint discussion. By doing this, we also contribute or well, foster methodological debates, of course, no? Cross-region. And it also means that we will continue doing qualitative ethnographic research on the local level, but just as much we'll also continue and develop actually further to contribute quantitative social science research to, for example, multi-agent based models in our interdisciplinary projects. So here also, of course, the element of interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary process development, which is and has in the past years always also been a focus of the ZEF department, to consciously reflect on these processes, will remain one of our core themes and core challenges. Well, the social sciences in development research, in my view, always contribute to a critical reflection of the development research that we do. That means that we critically look at development discourses. We also document and critically assess the research processes, etc. Itself. So basically the trans and interdisciplinary processes, the interaction with our partners here as well. This links to discussions of research ethics, of course, as well, and epistemological takes of or approaches of how we conduct the research itself. It has methodological implications, which also means that we have to contribute to methodological debates. But in the end, what, in my view, remains to be actually our main task in the end is to contribute to methodological and conceptual debates with the non-Western empirical material that we have. If we look at social sciences worldwide, we still have a very strong Western bias in the conceptual debates, in the methodological debates, as well as in the research topics that are being discussed. What we at ZEF can offer is vast empirical non-Western material that we are synthesizing, that we are analyzing, we are putting forth in the form or along the lines of basically Robert Merton's middle-range theories. So mid-range concept developments is here the key word in my view. We've got the analytical capacity, we've got the analytical material, the empirical material, so let's take it further.